And we're live. I hope we're live, and I hope you guys can hear me. But we're back up at Fish Trap Resort Campground, and I can hear you in my ear, so we're good to go. Welcome back to the Attitude for Gratitude podcast, brought to you from a couple hours north of the city where we normally have the show at 4026 Washington Avenue North. Tonight, this is going to be one of them special shows. I do it once a year up here at the campground. This is where I have my camper at, and it's this little jobby right here, the little camper, and the little piece of serenity out here with all my little bird feeders and all this jazz, and the deer and the turkeys and the affiliated woodpeckers. Maybe tonight, me being me, like the whole squirrel thing, I'll see a woodpecker come up and I'll stop Vern and turn the camera, probably in the middle of something real important, but you know how I am. But we're gonna hear about Vern's story tonight, and it's a heavy story. He's been doing this for a long time, and I'm not gonna steal too much of his story. But the one thing I want to let you guys know about is radar says we might be in for some storms tonight. So if I have to cut it out, stay tuned. 15 minutes later, we'll be back live. I'll set up in the camper. Without further ado, oh wait, look at me jumping the gun. So 4026 Washington Avenue North. That's where we do the show every Friday, except for tonight, of course. Come on down, check us out live. Come get on the show, be part of the show. We had the spring fling not too long ago. It was a blast. August 9th, we've got our back to the 80s bash of a party coming up. So come get involved. And most of all, like if you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. You're worth this fight. You're going to hear a bunch about his story and how he found recovery, and you're worth it. Like we talk about all the time. Like if you're having some mental health stuff, like go seek a doctor. If you are having self-harm thoughts, like please reach out to 988. It's a suicide hotline. Reach out, get involved. You're worth this fight. Like don't give up. And now I get to say what I wanted to say. Without further ado, Vern. All right, my friend. Let's hear about your. All right, here's how we're gonna do this. You don't need just look at me. Like pretend you're not on camera right here. This is a weird setup. I know it is. Mm-hmm. But it might make it easier to do this. Like I'll ask you a question and then you don't even have to look at me. You can look at just this and look at the wilderness or whatever. Okay. Tell us your story. Let's start young, like, hey, grew up household, blah, blah, blah. Tell us your story.
Oh, okay. Well, I've done this for a while. Thanks, man, Tim. You did a really good job on this. Thank you very much for helping me on here. I haven't told my story for a while, so I'm really going to be jumping around, really be kittywampus. And I was just asked to do this about a half hour ago, so I hope you excuse that I'm all over the place.
You'll be fine. And that's what I'm here. Like if I do my job properly, I reel it in or keep us on track. But I don't know. You've told your story in the past. Right. Same deal. But experience, strength, hope.
Bits and pieces. I mean, I started drinking in high school and spent 3 years in the Marine Corps. Come out with an extreme drinking habit because of the drug tested on that. My drug of choice is the alcohol. It's kind of hard to do a whole lot of drugs in the military. A lot of the drug tests. Got out, started going to college.
When you were in the military, you went overseas? Like, didn't you?
Yeah, my first duty station was Guam.
Yeah, so you've seen the world.
Yeah, I was in Guam in the Philippines. I was out that direction.
And you drank heavily out there?
Oh yeah. Over in Guam, you can get a bottle of Jack Daniels. $2.
Oh. And that was the thing to do, was drink. The boys drink.
Well, we did have a tie stick, because a tie stick over there Buddha, but it was just it was a little harder on that.
Right.
That China White over there too, which is a type of heroin. Hate to say, I'm not a big fan. I'm an extrovert, and being an introvert thing. I mean, I hate to say it. I wasn't a big fan of that. I'm a drunk. Got out, had issues, went through treatment. Had 8 years sobriety, went back in the Marine Corps. Things are doing good. I got a really good job in there. I got a job as a photo interpreter, which is required a top secret clearance. There's certain compartments and clearances, right?
Yeah.
But they knew my background when they did the check and saw that sobriety, right? And then I started drinking again. Got a DWI. They pulled my clearance and went to the infantry.
Oh.
Okay.
So you lose. All right. So and this is where I'll jump in here and there.
Mhm.
And if we have questions, again, if you guys have questions, feel free to post them. Vern said he's okay answering questions.
Mhm.
Otherwise, at the bottom of my screen, my number is going across if you want to stay anonymous.
Mhm.
So, and I just want to kind of get this right: is you got out of high school, you went into the military.
17. I turned 18 in boot camp.
Right. So you stayed in the military for
3 years.
Okay, and then
I got out for a while, still as inactive reserve, so
Oh.
I can actually I had a 3-year lapse period in there.
Okay, and then you went back into
back in the military
for a job, basically, or
yeah,
because the military is a job.
yes,
All right,
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
asking some questions. I
Okay,
just don't
okay,
know the answers
okay.
to. So while at this job, you start drinking pretty heavily.
I had about 8 years sobriety, and then I decided to go out drinking again. You've heard these stories that says that if you pick up, you don't pick up to where you stopped. You actually picked up as if you're drinking the whole time.
Right.
It was pretty much a train wreck.
So
I lost.
You stop here when you pick up. You pick up right here.
No, you pick up as if you've been drinking that whole 8 years.
So here's a question: is you said you had 8 years sobriety? Did you go into the rooms of recovery at the beginning of those 8 years, or
I was
just cold turkey? And
no, I actually went to the VA about way back when.
Okay,
I went to VA, went to 30-day treatment.
You did. VA. You went. Yeah. That was your first experience with treatment.
Yes.
So then you get a DWI. You lose some of your military clearance.
Well, this is about 8 years later.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Keep going. I'm interrupting, but yeah.
Okay. No, I was saying I'm sorry. I'm all over the place.
No, you're not. I'm the one doing that. I just wanted the timeline of school, military, 8 years clean, but after that 3 years of military, that's when you went into the VA.
I had 3 years in the military.
Okay.
I was out for 3 years in active reserve.
Okay.
Right as I've already come up with that 3 years, I just went back in. So I had a 3 years lap between the first 3 years and coming back in for another.
Okay.
So it was really sad in a way because I had it was kind of I was in Hawaii at the time. It's got to be rough. Good place to drink, I guess. anyway, so I went to treatment. I was in the Marines, but I was stationed at Pearl Harbor. They put me at I went to treatment at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Nice. That's unique.
Nice.
When I'm over there, when people are talking why they're in there, right? When they hear my story about having this really good job and basically going back, basically lose my clearance, everybody in the room was like, "Oh, what a bummer."
Yeah.
When you're in the treatment and people around there saying, "Man, you got it worse than I got it," you do have it pretty bad.
Then it's
and at the time I was in treatment, I was really the downer because it's like when you were at the very end. And one thing I always tell people, things get better. If you stop drinking, things do get better. I mean, when you hit rock bottom, once you hit rock bottom and come out of it, things get a lot better.
So after your DWI, take us from there moving forward.
Okay. So after the DWI, I went back. I was in the infantry, so I just started drinking again.
So do they give you a demotion at work? Like you said, you got the DWI.
No, I still the same rank.
Okay.
As a staff sergeant.
All right, and you get the DWI. You still drink?
Oh yeah.
All right. So keep us.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm so I'm still drinking. Then I then have a good time. So I'm in a different job in infantry. It's not as good. It was still infantry. I mean, I was doing okay. Not quite the prestigious job I had before.
Okay.
And then the Desert Storm came up, and got sent over there.
To Desert Storm, the war.
The war, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I was in the infantry then. I was a platoon sergeant of a heavy gun unit, 50 cals of Mark 19s, big guns. It was kind of uke. Saw combat, saw a lot of stuff. That disturbed me a lot coming out. The bodies, the artillery and all that. That got really rough. So then I got out, and Once I got out, I started drinking again. once I got out, I started drinking. I could not drink in Saudi Arabia. Apparently they look down on that.
Well, it's illegal, right?
It's illegal there, yeah.
So you're in Desert Storm. You're still drinking over there. How long was your service over in Desert Storm?
I was over there about a little over a year, about a year. But you couldn't. So I had some sobriety over there.
And it was forced
sobriety. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So keep her going.
Okay. I got after Desert Storm, I had about another year and a half, and I had 14 years in the Marine Corps. I had another 6 years to go before I could retire.
Okay.
I couldn't do it. My unit went to Somalia pretty much less than a year after I got out. I just couldn't do it. Just got out. Start drinking again.
Is that considered you retired from the military?
No, I didn't retire. I just got your time is over. I mean, you're going for like 4 or 3 years at a time.
And you just didn't renew.
I just didn't renew.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't renew. I was like,
and Desert Storm, what you've seen took a toll. Like, without getting graphic, you saw some pretty heavy stuff.
I couldn't. I'm not a chicken, but I could not do that again. I mean,
right.
I've talked to some of my friends that went to Somalia. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. Was it a deal? Was it something where the booze helped with those?
Oh yeah. When I got out, the booze did help with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So keep going.
So got out, had a God, when did I when I stopped drinking after the military is about 2000. Stopped drinking about 2000.
Okay.
I just started going to AA. Did not go to treatment. And I've been to 4 treatments. The last sobriety, when I got sober, I did not go to treatment. Just went to AA. Did the meetings.
What was there a bottom? What was it that made you say, "All right, I'm done. I'm going to go to meetings"?
I just don't think there is a bottom. I think I could keep dipping.
You think you still
I think I could keep dipping.
But I guess the question is, what was it that prompted you to set the bottle down and hang up the drinking reins?
This is probably. I met somebody that was in AA that wanted to stop drinking too. We decided to drink together. We said, you know what, if this relationship's going to work, we cannot be drinking.
Okay.
So we kind of made a pact to ourselves to quit drinking. So we started going to meetings. Worked out real well for us.
So you're in the rooms of recovery at what's your date is what?
Let's see. Well, we've had relapses. I had a relapse about 10 years ago. And when I say about 10 years ago, I've had so many dates because of relapses. So I've got about 10 years. It was like in the winter about 10 years ago. I don't have an exact date. I knew I was in Hawaii. I was over in Mexico or sometime in the winter, but we just quit then because it was a real brief relapse, but it was a relapse.
That was going to be my question. What kind of a relapse?
It was like a 2 weeks. It was like a 2 weeks relapse, but it was a constant relapse.
A constant.
Yeah, constant relapse.
I get it.
So, and that's just, I think I know kind of when my sobriety date is, but I know I'm going about 10 years right now.
10 years.
Yeah.
And you're married to someone who's in recovery as well, right?
Correct.
And you guys, so I know you guys this is the problem I have with knowing about you is I usually jump around people's stories, but I know you have a strong faith.
Yes.
How do I get into this topic? So what part does your higher power play in your recovery?
Oh, I'm totally blessed. I mean, this is a God thing. I'm really blessed. What helps me a lot also is the AA thing, helping other people. I do a lot of volunteer work. We did a lot of volunteer work feeding the kitchen. Winter in Mexico, we do a lot of work with feeding people. We could feed a family of 3 for $75 over in Mexico. That's just unheard of. I just love doing that. To me, it's giving back to where God has done something to me, and I could just kind of, I just say, thank God, just kind of, using the old cliche, pay it forward kind of a thing.
Well, and this is something we're going to dive into more than just what you're saying now, because Vern won't toot his own horn, but I'll toot it for him. But I know you and your wife are really involved. You've been on she's been on missionaries.
Mhm.
I think you've been part of this. Like,
Mhm.
you guys are really involved with the churches.
Mhm.
And I know you from a past mutual friend of mine who introduced us. And I think she knew Judy from a missionary they went on
Right.
down to Haiti or something.
Right. Exactly.
But all this stuff that you're bringing up, it's like, would you be able to be doing this, paying it forward if you're drinking still?
No, I feel so blessed. God is good. You know, I really feel blessed.
So you also what was your career? It was microchips, or what did you?
I actually I worked for an aerospace company for 25 years.
Yeah, so
and that's unheard of. I mean, God's been really good. I mean, I just there's something interesting in my story, but just the fact that I was working for aerospace is really a blessing. I got real blessed with that.
So, and then retiring from that, like, whatever the case is, like, you're at a point in life where now you have a nice camper. He's right down from me, a couple 5, 6 down.
Mhm.
You have a nice little pontoon, whatever. You guys have a place over in the cities,
Mhm.
and you built a place in Mexico.
See,
And so what for you, Vern, what's been some of the biggest hurdles to not drink? What is it for you that seems to always bring you back to the bottle, or that has in the past?
It's just I think it's to me it's complacency. I mean, it used to be in the past like, oh, life is so good. I got money in my pocket. Life is so good. I mean, it's easy to fall back on. I've had kind of a crappy life and everything else, but it's easy just to me, drinking makes me feel better. But there's obviously a downside to it.
Right.
Obviously a downside to it. But I really like the feeling of alcohol.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Imagine that.
yeah, I really like the feeling
An
of alcohol.
alcoholic who
And
likes
it's
the
like,
feeling.
it would be, you know, and then they come up with this thing, say, you know what, maybe I could have a beer and be a social drinker. Wouldn't that be just great?
Yeah. Like out mowing the grass on a hot day with a
Mhm.
nice ice cold beer. But I don't know. I can't speak for you, but for me, it doesn't stop at one beer.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's what determines me as an alcoholic
Mhm.
or an addict. I can't just do one thing.
Right.
Whatever. So complacency is a big thing.
Exactly.
For you. What do you do to get past those moments where the thought comes into your mind of drinking? Or
I do a lot of prayer. I talk to somebody. I do a lot of praying. I talk to somebody that talk to somebody saying, here's what's happening. So that really helps a lot there.
So would you say do you have a sponsor that you
I
call?
I have since I'm kind of moving around, that really makes it hard. I got a very good friend. I don't really label him as a sponsor. He does not know that, but he is pretty much my sponsor, even though he don't know it.
Right. Well, and you just me personally getting to meet you last year already, whatever. I love on you and you're a good guy. I know you've got a big heart. But you've made connections throughout recovery.
Mhm.
And I mean, I know like you brought up people like Bruce or like Harry,
Right.
Certain people like I know of that, but you got these people. Because what I'm getting at is we got someone who's listening,
Mhm.
scenario,
Right.
Someone out there listening who's hearing you say, okay, so this guy isn't going to AA every single day.
Mhm.
Like, because we have people that come on the show. Some people do transcendental meditation.
Right.
Some people only go to church.
Mhm.
Some people Buddhist, there's all these
Mhm.
different paths.
Right.
So this thing about you have to have a sponsor, that's not necessarily the case
Right.
for you either.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
but the thing I'm hearing you say is you pick the phone up
Right.
if you're struggling.
Mhm.
What do you tell someone, and I hope I didn't steal the thunder here, but what do you tell a guy who comes up, finds, oh, that Vern guy's in recovery, hey, I want to drink and I'm trying to stop, what do I do? What do you tell a guy?
Just talk them through it. This one thing though is that there's a part of the Bible in Job where he was going through a lot of hell, right? Had these 3 friends. The 3 friends did a really good thing for the first 3 days, and they just sat there and listened to him. Then after that, the 3 days, the 3 friends did the thing they should not have done. They decided to intervene to try to tell them how things should really be. The best thing to do is listen. God gave you 1 mouth and 2 ears.
I'm guilty. as you
Mhm.
can tell throughout this show
Uh-huh.
already, I'm guilty of that.
Mhm.
You think I have two mouths in one ear.
That's really hard for me because I'm pretty much a motor mouth, so that's really hard for me.
You should see us out on the boat, guys. We're just like,
Mhm.
but also when you are struggling though, the main thing I think people need to hear is you reach out. You don't
Right.
sit on it.
Right.
Um,
The other thing is a daily thing. Like I do a daily devotional. I
you're
do a
getting
day.
to
I
that.
do a
Yeah.
day.
What is
I
your
do a
daily
daily
routine?
devotional. I go through the Bible. I take and I pray. I pray for people. I pray for myself. Pray. The biggest thing is being thankful. Then I pray read my passages of Bible, my passage that I'm doing.
So would you say like gratitude?
Oh yeah,
Like
big
you have
time.
an attitude of gratitude?
Oh yeah. Hey, I like that. Yeah,
I
I
tied
like
it
that.
right in. And we got questions about gratitude.
Mhm.
So 10 years you've been alcohol free.
Mhm.
And complacency's been the number one killer for you in the past, those relapses. Because the first time you walked into treatment, before you had that 8 years,
Mhm.
how long ago was that in your life? 40 years? 50? Or
I think it was in my 30s. I think it was my 30s. I had like AC sobriety. I started drinking again when I was in my 30s.
all right, so before that 8 years of sobriety, how old do you? I'm trying to get at how long have you been at this trying not to drink thing?
Oh God. I've aged myself about 40 years.
So yeah, so about 40, well, what I want people to know is like 40 years you've been at this.
Mhm.
It wasn't perfect.
No.
There was slips along the way.
It'd be really nice to say, boy, I stopped drinking at 17 and life is great.
And also what I'm hearing too is like you do for others. That's a big thing. Giving back,
Mhm.
paying it forward.
Mhm.
Why do you do that?
I number one, I enjoy doing it.
Okay.
And number one, just giving back. I just enjoy doing it, and I don't want to pat in the back, or I just really enjoy doing it. And it's the same thing with AA. I mean, that's how Bill W found out how to keeping sober, is helping somebody else.
Right. The 12-step stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've tuned into the show before, so you know, like I asked, to us it's a no-brainer, of course, but we do have people that tune in that have never been to the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting there with a bottle in their hand right now. I wish I could stop, you know. So this might be the only taste of recovery they get. And that's why I ask questions like, what do you tell someone who's struggling? So basically find someone who will listen.
Right.
And I don't know, what's been the highlights of this last 40 years for you? And I know there's some lows because there's relapses, but what's been some highlights for Vern in this last in your recovery? What's been the highlights?
Boy, so God's been good. I got a good marriage, third marriage, third time's a charm. We've been married for 25 years. And it's really nice. We play off each other. She's really good to me. And
Judy's amazing.
Yeah, she's okay.
She should be. I set up a little spot right there for her.
Oh.
So I know you're over there watching. You should be over here. I got a little chair. You wouldn't even be on there. But no, she's amazing. You guys are both amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have been so friendly to me and nice. Vern always takes me out on the pontoon, and he's just always welcoming. So
then the other thing has been a really good job moving down to Mexico. That is huge.
So we're also live on TikTok. That's why I have my phone set up. And to the people asking questions on TikTok, I apologize. What are some encouraging words that you would want to tell the recovery community, Vern?
Biggest thing is like if you're down to your bottom, it gets better. As you get sober, it gets better. I was not at my bottom. I sure felt like it. It gets better.
Okay. Trying to zoom through these questions. This is, it's all right. There we go. And now I tell all you guys out there, like, oh, just send me questions on my phone and I'll get to them. But now I go live on TikTok, so I can't check my phone, and I apologize about that. So the biggest highlights we've talked about, the biggest hurdles we've talked about, and now, do you have a spiritual experience that you could share with us about? Was there something that happened in your life that you're comfortable sharing with the audience about? Any type of spiritual awakening, a spiritual experience?
I think it's just the fact that I just needed to be clean. And it wasn't like it was just, I mean, I've heard a lot of people just had these amazing spiritual experiences. And I was raised in the church and I kind of know what's going on. I know what to do. It's just, I just, the spiritual experiments is just to be known that that you're clean and that your sins have been forgiven. That's kind of what I look at. And it's not, I'm at a stage right now where I'm kind of, with all the stuff I've gone through, I'm getting a lot of numb with emotions. I'm not as emotional as I used to be, but it's good to be clean. Life is good.
I get that. This, I don't want to bring up not PTSD. You know what? Yeah, I will ask it. Like, I know just based on what you've already shared, like some of the darkness of what your eyes have witnessed in wartime. I don't know, mental health or PTSD or things of that nature. Have you dealt with this throughout this? Like,
time is a lot better. I had really problems with, I still do. There's certain smells of burning that I immediately go into, it was also a depression to just deeply it's almost like a brick hit me. We're going to deep depression.
It's just instant.
Yes.
By that, one of your senses get triggered. What do you do about those times?
This sounds almost too simple, but I know that it's going to pass. Now with the thunder or loud bangs, I mean, it's immediate. It's immediate square, but I immediately, if I wake up, it immediately goes away.
That's a heavy one too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, so, and we talk a lot about mental health on the show. And we always say, like, go see a professional. Have you in your recovery, if you're not comfortable I forgot to ask you, is there anything you don't want me bringing up? Have you ever seeked out psychiatrists or therapists?
I haven't. Probably should. I'm nuts. I am not. And I'm saying, I mean, time is a great healer. It's well over 25 years. Time is a really good healer.
And you have a very strong faith. Correct.
Exactly.
Like, because I'm no psychiatrist, nothing, but what I get at is, well, how the heck, I've had a lot of people on the show talk about depression and something that you just shared, like it just, boom, a sense triggered it.
Right.
Some people that could send them in such a downward spiral. And you just think that's what it was, the test of time of going through it enough where you realize, like, okay, this too shall pass.
Exactly.
Okay. What's your favorite song?
Boy,
you're gonna get questions right out of left field. Favorite song?
Oh, I like Zeppelin.
Anything Zeppelin, huh?
Anything Zeppelin.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Fly.
You're a fifth person. That's mine. That's what I always ask everyone their superpower. I had a guy though come on and talk about if I could always point in the water and I get the biggest fish in the lake. The biggest, if I'm fishing walleye, I get the biggest walleye.
I do that anyway.
See, is old fishing buddy here. Yeah. All right. So what would you like to tell the audience about recovery in general? Just things I know. Last time I was up here, I did solo. I've not had I usually have all this crap in front of me at my desk, and I'm blanking on certain questions I know I want to ask. But
the biggest thing I really had to struggle with whenever I relapsed, I was so embarrassed that I would not tell anybody and just leave it alone. I really respect people that as soon as they have a relapse, they deal with it immediately and go right in there. I mean, I've seen some people just constantly going in and out the door. That's the best way to do it. If you relapse and feel really guilty and don't confess it and just go about doing your own thing, and that's the worst thing right there.
Fifth step stuff. You got to unburden your soul. Secrets keep us sick. Like that. When you say that, all those things go through my head is like, to me, it made sense. We do inventory and see what's really weighing me down. And then we say it out loud to get it off our chest.
Right.
And for me, it made sense that if I don't get off my chest, those things that I'm holding on to are just more reasons to drink and drug and forget about it. but whenever I wake up from them using, the problem's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I think that is good. Like, we have a guy named Sam Blaze. I'll break his anonymity. He says, share about everything and use over nothing.
Mm.
Get that shit off your chest.
Amen.
So, what did we do? Oh, over a half hour.
Oh, wow.
So, the name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude.
Mhm.
Take as much time as you want. Tell us about your gratitude.
I'm just happy that I'm sober now. Life is good. I'm retired. I should, I'm not rich, but I'm happy.
Well, they talk about 9-step promises and nothing in there. Well, financial insecurities will. All right, so maybe they do talk about money, but with the 9-step promises, there's so many things that it touches on, but in your life, like, to be able to just live it and do, because right now you do whatever you want, right?
Mhm.
Like, you get to do what you want. And these times you talk about doing what you want, you go out and give back. Like,
yeah,
to me, I mean, we're just
kind of a hobby.
I mean, and when I ask you, like, why do you do it? I know, like,
Mhm.
for myself, when I've done certain things for others,
Mhm.
and this is messed up, and this is me being honest, like,
Mhm.
it makes me feel good
Mhm.
to do, like, whatever, give someone money on this corner, or help someone with a project just to do it. I don't tell no one about it, but still on the inside, I want people to know. That's the sick side of me.
Oh,
That, integrity, doing something when no
Mhm.
one's watching, like, there's a part inside of me. And this is me just being honest with you
Mhm.
and,
Right.
and the audience. Like, not that I want to parade, but for some reason, this old deep-seated thing that a character defect is, I still want people to know that Tim's out there. I'm doing something good for someone.
Well, Jesus kind of did something like he was talking about, when you do something and somebody recognizes you got your reward.
Yeah.
And if nobody sees it, you got your other reward, so.
I never, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because that's something else to incorporate. Is
Mhm.
the real Father, he'll see.
Mhm.
My real, yeah.
I think I'd rather please him than other people.
Yeah, because the other one's of the flesh,
Yeah.
like other
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Good.
See,
Good job there, Vern.
Vern's coming through with the good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do is get my big fat face in the way here, and we'll go boom, bada boom, boom. All right. So you're gratitude. Watch this, Vern. Watch. Boom. Wow.
Oh,
there we-
wow.
Why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah.
I think we're getting sprinkles.
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No,
look at-
that's the
they're fire. Oh, sparklers.
yeah, sparklers.
Well, it is 4th of July.
Those are pretty groovy.
You're not drunk. Like, life's good. You're building a new deck on your. I mean, things are
Mhm.
good. Your
Mhm.
house. How's the house down in Mexico coming?
It's done.
It's all done.
It's done.
All right. Now here's something I always ask people: is, would you be willing to come back on the show? On air, I got you.
Not for 30 minutes.
That was quick, and I didn't. And if we were in the studio, we would have went way longer, because I would have been able to chop your story up.
Oh.
We'd have dug more into your childhood.
Mhm.
We'd have dug into all 4 of your treatments.
Oh.
Not dug into them, but more chronological, where I'd be writing it down as we went.
I'll tell you what, Howard, how many people went to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii for treatment? I mean, you have to admit, that's pretty sweet.
This is what I wanted to touch on. So, yeah, no, that's,
Mhm.
and I don't want to, dwelling on the dark side of
Mhm.
war, but you're a veteran,
Mhm.
and you dealt with alcoholism, like,
Mhm.
and what would you say about the VA's ability to help an alcoholic or an addict with your experience that you've had?
They were. I went to the VA. They were pretty good.
The
They
VA
were,
was.
yeah, very really good.
Did they offer an inpatient type?
Yeah, I did have one back. This is way long time ago. Yeah, they had to offer, and I got to make a guitar too.
A what?
A dulcimer, which is like a guitar. This is way back when that was part of the recovery of making an instrument.
That was part of it.
Yeah,
It worked. I mean, it kind of worked.
it worked for 8 years.
So in the last 40 years, like, the longest stretch you going back out was what, that 2 weeks there?
Yeah.
Was there ever all right, you're off the rails for 5-6 years?
I had an 8 year. I had an 8 year.
Relapse.
8 year. That 8 year. Sorry. Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
that
You
was
went 8 years, and then what? You relapsed for
Oh yeah,
while
that
you were
was
back in.
yeah, about 6-7 years. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And this is now I'm hitting rewind on the show, but whatever. I mean, we're about wrapped up. Fireworks are starting to go off.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if they can hear them, the fireworks. I don't know. Oh, I can't put this in. I don't know. We can probably wrap up. We talked about your gratitude. Anything you want to leave the audience with?
No, I just saying it's if you're down the bottom, as long as you keep as long as you're not drinking, going to meetings, life is good. And one thing I always know in your recovery, I always hear when people are actually relapsing, they stop going to meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Usually don't hear that. Like, well, what when you relapse, what was your life looking like? Well, I had 3 sponsees that were working on steps. I was going to meetings every night of the week, and I just decided to drink after a meeting one night. It's usually not that.
Exactly.
You know, one of the old timers. But no, so like, I think it was Bob who told me, he's like, if you are struggling, like his advice was, go help someone. Go help a struggling alcoholic or an addict. Go sit with them. Listen. A lot of times you'll hear about their problems and yours won't seem so big. Think to that nature. Who is lighting up the biggies over there?
Well, that was a nice one.
Yeah, they got big ones across the street. They really started partying quite a bit over there. So, all right, audience, we'll get to wrapping up here. I'll say some final stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Vern kicked ass tonight. You did a great job. Like, without me having all my little questions, I normally have all these questions and I'd be bugging you about stuff. So, all right, audience, it's 4th of July. Like, hopefully you guys are out having a good time and not schwilling away. I don't know. And if you are, like, be safe, I guess. And like Vern said, like, it does get better. You set the bottle down, you set the needle down, the pipe, the straw, whatever it is. Like, it will get better. Work on self, help others. I think that's really important to talk about that too, is like help others. Like, get outside of self. I know for me personally, like, and you know, I've shared with you about my boo-hoos and what I struggle with. I've shared with Vern quite a bit about it. We're in the boat and I'm like, but she doesn't love me. And he listens and he doesn't sit and say, I'll get over it. But things like that, when I'm in my feelings, best thing for me is to go be of service. It is. It's like being of service. It's a fail safe to get out of here. I'd like to get on to what Vern said is like, this too shall pass. And honestly, look back in your own life, because I look back in mine and every issue I've had, like, it does pass. It's nature. Unless I pass away in the middle of some bullshit, it will pass. I just got to remember that. I think I just made some video on this the TikTok thing. I'll show you, but like, I shared about that. God, I went on like, well, I'll put a smile on and eventually I'll probably start getting happy. You know, if I'm in a mood or something, like if I at least act like I'm in a better mood, usually I'll find myself in a better mood. I don't know. It's not like it's a fail safe, but I think the big one is service work. Like, get outside of self. I'm shared about it before. Like, we get to go share down in Fairview, Riverside. We take on commitments. Like, we go to the prisons. We do things like that. We'll work for recovery. That's where this podcast is held every Friday night. We also have another podcast called Rule 62 on Wednesday nights with Jake and Nate. That's really taking off. The way that is set up is every night at We'll Work for Recovery, there's a 7:00 meeting. Tomorrow night's the walk and talk at 7:00. Monday night, it's a really big meeting. Tuesday night, we have a Wellbriety meeting. That's a Native American or Indigenous people based meeting. We do 2 or 3 Native readings, and then we share about what's been keeping us sober. That's more of an intimate meeting, but that's at 7:00. Wednesdays, it's a bigger meeting down at We'll Work for Recovery, 4026 Washington Avenue North. Between 50 and 100 people show up. The center's huge, though. There's always somewhere to sit, leather couches, recliners, whatever. Thursday nights, it's more of a faith-based meeting. Megan and Tim, I believe, run that one. And it's starting to get legs with the population. It's starting to rise up. So it's still pretty intimate, but it's not as big as Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Tonight, I just was talking to Will before the show, and there wasn't many people down there, but normally on Friday nights, there's tons of people. And then the podcast. I always have the podcast right after the 7:00 meeting. and we're getting back into some of the free for all shows. While I'm on here, I can't really look at the calendar, but it's either next week or the following week is another free for all show. So come on down in person, get on the show if you want. And again, Saturday is the walk and talk at 7:00. Then we have a bonfire outside, and they do a meeting around because the walk and talk is just someone telling their story. But after we do the bonfire, and they have a meeting around the campfire, just like they do out at Bob and MJ's, the monthly campfire meeting. Same thing every Saturday night down at Will Work for Recovery. 6:30 a.m. structured meeting every day down there. 6:30 a.m. It's Solution on 2nd Street, I believe is the name of it. Will Work for Recovery. Did we bring up Serenity Village? We didn't even talk about it.
No.
You were involved. At one point, you were really involved with Serenity Village.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm even saying this is like 2218 is where we started the podcast. New Hope, Alano, that's where I do my men's meeting. Fairview Riverside is where I went to treatment. The VA, the veteran, what does VA stand for?
Veterans Administration.
Veterans Administration. What I'm getting at is we don't gatekeep nothing. We share about whatever's helped us. And I wasn't sure we brought up Serenity Village, but Serenity Village was a part of my early story. Whatever you can find that's going to help, like, go get after it. It's worth it. Like you said, it gets better. So I think I babbled on enough. Life, like you said, life's good. Life's good. Life's going to show up no matter what. Like family does what, like you still deal with life, right, Vern?
Mm-hmm.
Like things aren't just still always perfect, are they?
Right.
What do you do when family gets involved, when there's an issue with a family member? We'll wrap up pretty quick here, but I'm thinking of like when family members, when things happen,
mm-hmm.
like how do you address that when there's issues with family nowadays? Without like we don't have to say name,
but I don't have a good solution for that.
Just what, listen or just show up however you can, or
supposed to listen, but a lot of times they interject, which probably is the best way. I did the second part of the Job Friends where they start to open their mouth when they shouldn't have.
Right. I think that's natural. For me, it's like human nature. I chalk it up as a human nature thing. Like,
right.
And I don't know if it's I want to fix it or, well, this works for me, whatever. I could go on. You know me. Right. I have blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, again, if you're out there tonight struggling, like it's 4th of July. I know what I used to do on 4th of July. This was big party night. Oh, yeah. Big party night. Hopefully you found somewhere safe to go. And I know we still have plenty of time. So if you're looking for somewhere to go tonight and watch some fireworks, I've got a safe place to go. And I'll put the address out right now on air. Grab my phone number off the bottom of this screen if you don't catch it when I give it to you and you want it. The address, it's over in Brooklyn Park. And it is 1205 84th Way North, Brooklyn Park. Guy named Ron F. He's my sponsor. And he's got a couple, I don't know, $5,000-$6,000 worth of fireworks every year. Since the first year of my recovery, that's what I've been doing on the 4th of July. I was over at Ron's house. Everyone's welcome. It's a safe place to go hang out. If you want to light fireworks, they always need an extra person with the lighter. I mean, it was safe for me. Look, I walked away with most of my fingers. I'm joking. I got them all. But serious, hopefully you find somewhere safe. And if you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. Please reach out. You're worth it. You just heard a guy talk about his, he's got to be in his at least 50 years old. And he's got 40 years of doing this thing. And like, it does get better and it works. You just put the work in. So if no one's told you today, I'll tell you, I love you. You are loved. You are worth this life. So please reach out if you're struggling. And I love you. And have a good night, everybody. Bye, Z's.